Good evening, everybody. This is Alpio Hunter, your host for this evening's webinar with Drew Palmer. We're really excited to be hosting him tonight. Drew Palmer has built a business around being a full-time freelancer. He holds international clients and is dedicated to teaching creative freelancers around the world how to generate more leads, convert more clients, and build a highly effective support network. On this tonight's webinar, you are going to be discovering one thing you can do that you can actually start doing today that can generate thousands more per month. Learn 5 things that all successful freelancers have in common and discover ways you can increase your leads, convert more clients, and quickly propel your freelance business forward. Welcome, Drew. We're glad to have you here tonight.
Sounds good to hear that. It's awesome to be here, as we were talking about before. Very excited for this. I've been connecting with a lot of really, really awesome people in this group and in other groups. And it's just very, very encouraging to hear people share the same type of mindset that I like to keep, and sort of cater that towards creativity and design, which is my passion. My number one thing, my jam, is web design and art direction in a freelance capacity. It's a decision I made a while back. But I've through my years of doing it, I've connected with amazing people who have led me to certain places that I never thought I'd be able to go. And it's my hope tonight to disclose some of those shortcuts that I took, disclose some of those mistakes that I made along the way, and help you, if you're a creative freelancer or otherwise, to try to avoid those, and really see your creative ambitions, whatever they may be, through to fruition, and teach you how to start a profitable and successful, sustainable freelance business for yourselves. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I've got some slides I want to show you guys. And as I said, first of all, thank you for joining. Some of this might sound familiar for those of you who've joined me before. You know what? Let me go ahead and click present here so we can get full screen. But we're going to talk about a free live training tonight, how to start earning up to $10,000 or more per month as a full-time freelancer, which is something that I've done. And by being here, you've already given yourself an advantage over your freelance competition. My ultimate goal through being here tonight is to connect 100,000 creative freelancers to the people and resources they need to grow their business and generate more leads and income through a sustainable business. So a little bit about me. I may be a new face to many of you, many of you may be new faces to me. So let's get acquainted a little bit. I'm a freelance art director and designer based out of Philadelphia, PA. I've been a motion graphics designer in Los Angeles. I've been a product graphic designer for a major athletic apparel brand. I've been an internationally recognized poster designer. I've held jobs at 4 major ad agencies in New York City and Philadelphia. I've been a visual and interaction design consultant for several software development companies and a contributing author to a major design blog and publication. But more importantly than any of that is that I am a full-time freelancer, and it's a decision that I made about 2.5 years ago that I don't think I'll ever turn back from. And on today's free webinar, I'm going to teach you how I got where I am today. After quitting a salaried job with no freelance gigs to fall back on, and I had no natural network to immerse myself into or to support me, I had no experience selling myself or my services. I'd come from an agency background, being spoon-fed all my work every day. I walked in, there was work to do, and I walked home. I was trying desperately to hold on to my creative ambitions while also trying to make ends meet. And I think it's a struggle we all feel. If we have any kind of creative ambition and we find ourselves pigeonholed into an environment that we don't feel fully creatively fulfilled, we go through the challenge of trying to decide how to sustain a lifestyle or even just make a living out of doing what we're truly passionate about. And it's a balance that we sometimes don't really see how to strike. But I want to talk about how I was able to turn those feelings around and turn it into a profitable lifestyle, and how you can too, no matter what creative field you're in. So this webinar is going to show you quickly how to generate more leads and start earning thousands of more dollars per month in your freelance business. If I can start from scratch, like many of you will and many of you have, you can easily do the same. But we're going to try to keep it under 60 minutes, I think, because I don't want to take up too much of your time on a Thursday night before the 4th of July weekend if you're in the US. So put away any distractions, but by the end of the presentation, you'll know exactly what you need to be doing, not only to generate more leads, but how to consistently convert them. into paying customers. And many of you will understand how to double your income within the first month alone, as I was able to do, as countless other people I've connected with have been able to do. And it's not as hard as you think it is. So I also want to add that there are going to be added incentives offered only to people on this webinar. So stick around and just, keep an ear out for that. I'll let you know when they're coming. First, I want to ask you a question. If there's anybody on here, I want you to think about this. How many of you love the idea of freelancing, but you're nervous that you won't be able to find enough work to sustain your business? I know it's a struggle that I've felt, and you're not alone. It's exactly how I felt when I started out, and it can be very discouraging. But to tell you the truth, I haven't looked for a job in years. I look in my LinkedIn inbox, in my Gmail inbox, and I get messages like this that say, "Hi, Drew, we're looking for design contractors. There's required travel to Europe. Is this something that you might be interested in?" And I say, hell yeah, that's something I might be interested in. I get to travel overseas and do what I love. Why would I say no to that? But the point is, I didn't have to go out and solicit this. I have this appearing to me every day. And there's one reason why that happens. I want to get into that a little bit later on. But how many of you would love to see that? How many of you would love to wake up in the morning and open your inbox and have job opportunities waiting for you that enable you to do exactly what you want to do on a daily basis? I know I would. It's some place that I was trying to get for a long time, and now that I've gotten here, I want so badly to share it with everybody else and teach you how to do exactly the same. But I'm not showing this to you to brag. I'm doing it more to prove that there are ways to tap into an endless stream of freelance projects. The work is out there, and not only am I going to show you how to generate those leads, but how to convert them into high-paying clients. So on today's webinar, I'm going to talk about my struggle and what I did to overcome it. I'm going to talk about why now is the best time in history to start freelancing. And we're going to talk about 3 creatives who I've been fortunate enough to meet who are absolutely killing it and why they've been so successful. We're going to talk about the 5 most common concerns that freelancers have, how to solve them, and the one thing that leads to 99% of new freelance clients. We're going to talk about how to rapidly build your client list and start making passive income starting today. And at the end, we're going to wrap up with a Q&A. If anybody has any questions or would like to know a little bit more, I'm going to be on here live. Myself and Apio as well will be here to answer any questions. So let me start with my background, starting from the very beginning. My story begins in Philadelphia, PA, the land of brotherly love, the cheesesteak city where the girls are pretty. Here we are in Philly. It's where I sit today. It's where I started. I moved here in 2011 to fulfill my lifelong goal to land a big-time ad agency job, just like Mr. Don Draper. And in 2011, I did that. I got my big agency job. I had my tacky bumper stickers. I love ad. I didn't actually have this bumper sticker, but it just drives home the point that I thought I had made it. I was drinking craft beers at happy hours. I was drinking lattes in the morning. I was riding fixed gear bicycles to work. I was wearing flannel and t-shirts in the office, and I thought I was on top of the world. I got cocky, and for a few years, it seemed like all was right in the world. I had finally made it. I achieved my dream, and it would just be climbing the ladder from here on up, and all would be right in the world. And several years in, I realized something. I wasn't learning. I wasn't learning anything. I wasn't growing. I was doing the same thing that everybody else around me was doing. And I felt overworked, and I felt underpaid, and I felt uninspired. And, what kind of creative environment is that? And I found this political cartoon that I think sums it up perfectly, which is, it says, "As a supervisor, Edna, I admire your ability to compartmentalize." And I wasn't Edna. I was one of the people sitting in those cubes in the background, myself and countless other coworkers of mine. There was little interaction. People would walk into work, they would plug their earbuds in, they would sit there and email each other. And I just thought, what kind of collaborative environment is this, where we sit in this office, we call ourselves creatives, and we crank away the same monotonous work every day and call ourselves inspiring? I didn't get it. And I didn't understand what kind of creative environment it was. And so what did I do? I quit my job. Cold turkey. I found this little e-card that I love. I love these e-cards. I just wanted to let you know that I meant to put in my 2 weeks notice 2 weeks ago. I walked out quite literally like that. And I'm not trying to say that all agency jobs and corporations are bad. I'm saying that if we aren't learning, we aren't growing. And that's something that has rang true in my head for my entire freelance career. If we're not learning, we're not growing. If we're not challenging ourselves, we're not growing. We're not doing anything differently, and we're becoming complacent. And that's no direction to move in. So I cleaned out my desk. I forced myself into the next phase of life, which was freelancing, and the word free being the operative draw for why I decided that that was my path. I decided I was going to strike out on my own, which is a lot easier said than done. So I made this to-do list, right? I was going to rebuild my portfolio site. I was going to check my LinkedIn profile and make sure that it was up to date. I was going to update my resume. I was going to redesign my resume again and again and again, rebuild my portfolio site again, check LinkedIn again, go to Odesk, look for jobs, go to monster.com, look for jobs, go to coraflow.com, look for jobs, AIGA, any job board you could think of. And I did all of them except one thing, which was land one single project. I didn't land anything. I did all of that. I focused on those things, did everything right, and I got nothing. No jobs came in. And I got very discouraged because I was living off of my savings, and I watched my bank account diminish, and I got terrified. I was sitting there tapping my foot on a Monday morning, not knowing where to go or what to do, except for redesign my portfolio again and again and again. And the few leads that I did manage to generate down the line were not the type of quality I was after. You know, they would come from job boards like Monster, and they're just not quite in my ballpark of what I was trying to do. And I realized I was spending 100% of my time looking for work and no time actually doing paying work. And I realized that this was not a sustainable way to operate a business. Even if I was drawing 2 or 3 leads and making, having one client to work with, it's still, I would have to spend 75% of my other time trying to find the next job. And it was just not sustainable. So instead of focusing on high traffic job boards, I decided to do it a little bit differently. I shifted my focus and I started focusing on people, human beings, human interaction. And instead of applying for open positions, hoping I got a call, I would find companies or individuals or organizations that I admired. And I would ask for 5 minutes of their time just to connect, just to talk to them, get to know them a little bit. And I wouldn't ask them for anything, just a quick conversation to get to know them, to introduce myself. I would do my research. I would congratulate them on a recent success or a business win or changes in their organization that they might be proud of. And as soon as I started focusing on these positive interpersonal connections in my network, I suddenly started to notice a change. Not only did I start generating drastically more leads, but the quality of them started to improve. They were truly what I was after. And I found that clients are much less skeptical of you if you're being referred to by a human being instead of a job board. And in retrospect, it makes perfect sense. I began signing multiple contracts with other agencies for projects with 2-month durations, 6-month durations, 8-month durations. And when those projects ended, I would ask them to refer me to someone that they thought might benefit from being in touch with me, and they could facilitate another introduction. Whether there was immediate needs for me or not, I would at least know who they were, and they would know who I was. And I called this method planting the seeds, because you have to plant seeds in networking. It's a common phrase that's used in networking, but it applies especially to freelancing, because if you don't plant those seeds, money trees don't grow. But more importantly than that, I can't tell you how many times those seeds have turned into 6-month contracts down the road. For example, this email that we looked at earlier, this was a woman that I had worked at for one of my first freelance gigs, who I made a point to be in close touch with her. She was a phenomenal designer and my manager while I was there. But she just had such a respect for what I did and the passion that I brought to the table that she kept me in the back of her mind when I left. When my project was done, when my contract was over, I was fresh in her mind. So when there was another need for me, she would refer me. I would be the first person that she thought of. And this is an example. I woke up to this about 3 months ago. She said, "Hi, Drew. I hope you're doing well. I was contacted by a friend and former colleague about contractors for design. He's a former research director, now working as a director of user experience at a product company developing user interface toolkits. The contract work includes travel to Europe, which sounds like it might be appealing to you because we bonded over the fact that we both love traveling. She doesn't know a lot of details, but she wants to just put us in touch." So I said, "Absolutely, please put me in touch with this guy. I would love to get to know him." And a month after that email hit my inbox, I was standing in London giving a design presentation for the project that she had mentioned. I had met the guy. He hired me. He liked me. He believed in me enough to bring me overseas with him and his team to handle the visual design of this project. And this was one of my first freelance gigs that was overseas. I got to travel. I got to do what I loved, and I got to meet people from all regions of the world doing design. And that's what I was after for so long, and I had finally been there. It was an unbelievable opportunity to expand my network overseas and work on a really exciting project. So a question that I want you to think about is, are you concerned that there isn't enough work to go around? Sure, the job sounds great that I just described, but is there enough of those types of projects that you can all have that? You can all reach that same level, that same quality of job? Of course. You're not alone in thinking that there might not be enough or that you might not stand out enough, but I have good news, and that is that in 2015, and this is an article published by Forbes this year, it discloses how much companies are actually spending on freelance talent. And it says that clients typically spend tens of millions of dollars each year on contract labor. That means tens of millions are spent on individuals who are passionate about what they do and are confident enough to go out on their own and freelance. Big companies are recognizing the need to prepare for a large wave of freelancers. And circled area down there, companies are even embracing a need for a management system. I mean, there are tangents of companies that are being built up just 100% dedicated to managing freelance talent that moves in and out the doors. So the work is out there. You just have to know how to tap into the right networks. And there are 53 million freelancers currently working today. Since 2013, according to Elance, 57% of freelancers reported an increase in earnings by working for themselves. And 20% of them more than doubled their income within the first year alone. Doesn't that sound fun? Freelancing provides more potential for earning, learning, and growing, the three things that I felt that I didn't have enough of and that most people feel they wish they had more of. Freelancing allows you to do that. It may be hard at first. It may be daunting. It may be terrifying, but it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be scary because you'll learn more, you'll grow more, and you'll build yourself up faster than you ever thought possible. The work is out there. You just have to tap into the right channels to find it, because the size of your network will equal the amount of leads you generate. It's just basic math. And freelancers with a smaller network will have to spend more of their time trying to find new work. While freelancers with a larger network will naturally attract more clients, will attract more leads, and they'll obviously be landing more paid gigs, and they'll have to spend less of their time searching for work. So can you imagine if you woke up every day and had multiple opportunities waiting in your inbox? More and more people are doing it and turning their creative ambitions into 6- and 7-figure businesses. People like these faces right here, 3 people that I've been very fortunate to connect with. The first being Katie Rogers. She's a former coworker of mine for when I was working up at a major apparel company based out of Boston. Katie was on the women's fashion design team. Incredibly talented illustrator and designer, but like me, she didn't love the corporate grind. She was extremely talented, but she felt like she was doing monotonous work. So around the same time that I left, she left shortly thereafter, and she moved to New York City. And she had followed her passion of illustration. She loved illustration. She loved more than designing apparel for women. She loved sketching ideas. She was a dreamer, and watercolor to the paper pad is where she found her biggest passions and ambitions would come to fruition. So she started paperfashion.net, which is an incredibly awesome site where it showcases her work. She even hosts Skillshare classes on how to become an illustrator. And it's just, I mean, she's got 479,000 followers on Instagram. She's got clients like Disney, Lacoste, Coach, Saks Fifth Avenue. They're all individual clients who hire her and her alone to do the work for them because she's that talented. But more importantly, she's that passionate. She brings that level of passion to the table that everyone really is drawn to. A second guy is Danny Margulies. He's a copywriter and content marketer. And I sat down with Danny, had a conversation a couple months ago. He's a former office worker turned freelancer. And he was so uninterested in what he was doing that I don't even remember what he was doing. He was trying to describe to me what his job was before he found copywriting. And he was so bored by it. He was so bored by explaining it. And it was just, he quit his job cold turkey. He didn't like what he was doing. He wasn't even a copywriter. He worked at an agent or a company, but decided just to leave. And he literally sat down and Googled how to make money as a freelancer. And he landed on elance.com. But he was so dedicated and so driven that he managed to pull 6 figures in 12 months only as a freelance copywriter, something he'd never done before, but he had enough passion and ambition to try to strike out on his own. And I should note that most of his 12-month income occurred in the last 6 months of his job. So there was a ramp-up period because he was absolutely starting from scratch. But now he's reached a point where he makes, I mean, you can see it in his earnings, $113,000 in 12 months. For someone who's never written the line of copy in their life, to just go online, navigate Elance and navigate what people's needs are and try to figure out how to do it himself. It's amazing to hear his story. He even offers free lessons to people who are interested in copywriting and content marketing. If you go to freelancetowin.com/5-star freelancers, it'll be a page where you can go and download a free copy of his top 5 Elance hacks. And 100% of his income, by the way, is on elance.com. He doesn't work for any other clients except the ones that he finds on Elance. The third guy I want to talk about is Preston Lee, who's an amazing friend. I'm glad I can say that now. But also, he's the owner and founder of Millo.co. It's formerly Graphic Design Blender, which is one of my favorite design publications. He's a designer turned blogger and content marketer. He has a list of over 20,000 readers, and he hasn't had this blog that long. But he is so passionate about speaking, and he started as a designer, but he's moved more into blogging and connecting and networking and just bringing all facets of creativity into his one blog called Millo.co, which is just an unbelievable curated list of content that helps freelancers of all walks of life and creativity really reach the level of success that they should be doing. And you can download, again, his free ebook at millo.com/breakthrough, how to crush your excuses for not starting a business, and download Breakthrough for free. Great guy. But the common thread that all three of those people have in common isn't that they're so popular and they're so successful. It's one thing, and that's that they have huge networks, and they have those networks because they're passionate, and people are drawn to passion. And I can't emphasize that enough. They have huge networks because they're passionate. They dedicate 100% of their time to paying projects and little time to trying to find work. They're not shooting in the dark. They're not, firing off cold emails to people they might want to work with because they're desperate. They're focused. They are passionate about one thing and one thing only. And by staying true to that, they've managed to grow their networks to a size that allows them to stay afloat easily and do what they love day in and day out without ever worrying about where the next project is coming from. Their networks are so big that the work finds them. They have the luxury of picking and choosing. A quote from Danny Margulies: "I first realized my success on Elance when I no longer had to seek out new gigs. They started to find me." It drives the point home, and it just becomes truer and truer the more people I talk to. By generating a large volume of leads, it's only half the problem. You can generate as many leads as you want, but you have to know how to convert them, because 100 leads does not equal 100 paying clients. So that's the trick. How do you convert them effectively? How do you so you now know how to draw them. It's by having a big network, but how do you convert them effectively? There is a 5-step process you need to follow in order to do so. We're going to go through that right now. So get out your pen and paper if you have it, if you're interested. The first step of the five-step process is the mindset. You need to know the minimum success factor. What is the minimum you need to do to succeed? If you start freelancing and you have a lofty goal, you want to make $15,000 a month. It's going to be hard to get there. And when you don't, you'll become deflated. It'll affect your mindset and you will get turned away. You need to set milestones for yourself. Understand the minimum you need to get by. Because once you achieve the minimum, you can set a little bit higher goal. Then you can set a little bit higher goal. And then all of a sudden, you'll be repeating that process. It'll get more comfortable. It'll become more fluid, and the snowball will start growing and growing. And before you know it, you'll be off and running before you even have time to think about it. You need to ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? If you're thinking that you'll make no money, what are the odds that you're going to make $0? If you decide to freelance, the odds that you'll make $0, I'm assuming that you're all pretty intelligent. You're sitting here on this webinar. The odds of you making $0 in a month are none. And I believe that all of you are capable of more than that. So if you know the minimum success factor, follow that. And when you achieve that, raise the bar a little bit. The second is self-promotion. I believe that it's effective to master the art of clarity and not be a jack of all trades. It's tough as a creative because we're so inspired by so many different things. But while those may be inspiring and we may be drawn to certain things, and we want to try different things and experiment, it's hard to do that and also promote yourself effectively. Because if you promote yourself as a jack of all trades, people who hire jacks of all trades, they don't get hired. They get talked to, they get interest, they draw interest, but people hire experts. People hire people who are experts and can offer expertise about a field. So when it comes to self-promotion, ambiguity is your enemy. You have to figure out exactly what you want to do. For Katie, it was hand-drawn illustration and in the fashion industry. So that was her specific niche. And for Danny, it was copywriting online. So online copywriting channels. So you can be an illustrator or you can be a copywriter, but if you're an illustrator in the fashion industry, or if you're a copywriter in the online space, you start to funnel more leads through that specific channel than you would if you were a jack of all trades. It's just easier to get discovered if you're promoting yourself that way. This is my LinkedIn page. I wanted to give a few examples of just how I structured it, because I've got so many connections and I've made a lot of different connections over LinkedIn, and a lot of the jobs that I get come through LinkedIn. But I wanted to break down the way that I just organized my bio and my work history. And it comes in 7 steps. So the first was a high level overview of who I am and sort of where I come from. The second part is general projects, industries that I've worked in as well. Then I highlight specific clients that I've worked for in those industries. For me, it was a lot of pharmaceutical clients. Philadelphia is a hub for great hospital systems. So a lot of the advertising agencies I've worked for have been pharmaceutical clients, naturally. So I highlight those specific clients. And then I cite other relevant accomplishments, because more than my client history, they're going to be interested in what I've done that demonstrates my passion for this industry. So I'll list awards, relevant competitions or seminars that I've given or attended. Then at the end of all that, you describe what you're looking for, because somebody reads what you're looking for and it doesn't match up with what they're seeking, then they won't email you. And that'll be one less lead that's off-putting that you don't have to worry about. You don't have to sift through all these different leads that aren't really exactly what you're looking for. And then at the end, you list your specific skills. It's always helpful to have, important softwares that you're good at, or important skills that you might have that may sort of sell your case as a freelancer or a new talent for an agency or a company or an individual who's looking to hire you. So that's sort of the way I structure my portfolio, or my resume. Excuse me. The next part, and this is one of the most important parts, is proposals and pricing structure. A lot of freelancers I talk to, they are hesitant about the way that they charge. They always ask, what should I be charging for this project? What should I be charging for a logo versus a website, or X versus Y versus Z? Pricing is a big pain point that we all have. How do we have a service that we're passionate about, that is our lifestyle, that is our living. So how do we establish the right way to price that? And when you generate a lead, that the first thing they ask is, how much is this going to cost me? And you have to know how to sell your service in a way that's effective, that's fair to them, and it's also fair to you. Deliver more than just a number. So I like to break it down into a project summary, a scope of services, and an estimate. It's sort of a 3-part structure to offering a creative proposal, because when you think about it, this is really your first chance to wow the client. It's your first chance to show them that you can offer something that's head and heels above the competition. If you ask, if you were looking to hire a designer and they just gave you a quote for $7,000, there's nothing backing that number. That's just a high number that you react negatively to. But if you break it down into, here's a project summary. Here's why I think I would be good at it. Here's a scope of services. What I mean by that is scope, as in, I'm going to break this project down into 4 phases. The first is we're going to research it together. We're going to collaborate on the direction we're trying to move. Then we're going to move into design iteration. It's also going to be a collaborative environment between you and me. And then the third phase of this is that I'm going to execute the designs that we've both decided on and deliver a beautiful product to you. This structure can apply itself, whether it's design, whether it's copywriting, whether it's photography, whether it's whatever industry you might be in. Always offer more than a number. Offer a process. And then at the end, give the estimate, give the number, because once you go through the process and talk about how the dynamic is going to be between you and the client, then it'll soften the blow a little bit. So when a lead rolls in, it's your first chance to wow the customer. So you need to utilize that opportunity and really focus on that. If you're looking for a deeper dive into how to do that, you can go to this site right now, 5starfreelancers.com/bulletproof proposal. It's a 12-page step-by-step guide on how to do everything we just talked about. But in the interest of time, I'm going to keep on rolling. The fourth thing that you need to do is organization and project management. So you've landed a lead. Maybe you've landed 5 clients that you need to work on right now. So how do you manage 5 clients at the same time and make them all feel as important as the next? And that's where you need to design the process. You need to make sure that you're delivering quality work, but you need to make sure that you're constantly checking in with them. You're making them feel like it's a collaborative environment. You don't want to sign a project and get a down payment and then wait 3 weeks before you have time to work on their project. You need to be able to manage that. So develop a management structure, a client management structure that you follow day in and day out, so that clients know what to expect when working with you. And this can be described in the proposal, but make sure you follow through with it. Have a process, have a structure in place that the client can expect to follow and that you deliver. And the last and the most important part about landing new clients and generating new leads is have a support system. Never leave a project without asking for a referral. Leverage those relationships into other freelance work. It enables you to repeat the connect to execute projects and to keep repeating that cycle until it snowballs into something that's sustainable and that has a lot of momentum. If you can follow those steps 1 through 5, everything from the mindset to growing your network, you can start to see how being positive throughout everything, but also on top of that, being structured and setting expectations will all turn into a lot of lead generation. It's something that I've found so true, and that a lot of freelancers that I've talked to have found so true, is the network. The network, the positivity, the mindset, the process. Have your own process. It all bundles together into this really fluid package that just is, it's bulletproof, to be honest. It's unbelievably powerful if you understand those 5 steps. If you can repeat it, the bigger the business will grow. And I wish I could go into more detail right now on just exactly how it's affected me and how it's affected other people. But focusing on these 5 areas will help you avoid early freelancing mistakes that might dissuade you. It'll create the perfect freelance business model. It'll help you stand out from the competition. It'll automate your lead generation process. But most importantly, it'll save you valuable time. And when we're paid hourly and we're paid as freelancers, time is our biggest commodity. So let me ask you another question. I want you to think about this. What would it feel like if you woke up every morning with new prospects in your inbox? I know I've asked this before, but just envision how it might change you, how it might motivate you to know that people were seeking your services and wanted to work with you every single day. After today's webinar, I hope you see how building a strong network and following the 5-step process will propel you forward in your freelance career. And if you understand that, it's time to get to work. If you've just been starting out, or maybe you've been freelancing for a while and you're not quite at the numbers that you want to be at, I want to introduce you to something that I've been working on for a couple months with several other freelancers, Preston Lee being one of them, who talked about him before. But we're developing a system called 5-Star Freelancers. And what it is it's tools and trainings for you to put into action that will help you generate leads automatically, very much in the same way we just talked about. The course includes a 5-part training course, worksheets for each of those lessons that we talked about the 5 pillars, PDF downloads, templates that you can use, monthly guest lectures from freelancers around the world that I've been able to connect with. It'll also include a private LinkedIn discussion group and job board. So one of the most powerful things that I've found is using LinkedIn to connect with other people. And I've gotten 99% of my projects and leads from not only my network, but LinkedIn specifically has been unbelievably powerful. So this course is hosted with Zippy Courses, which was developed by Dan Halpern. It's designed to guide you along the most important phases and crucial first steps of your freelance career. We're covering the mindset, self-promotion that we talked about, the pricing structure, very detailed levels of all these things, organization, networking, and referrals, hour-long sessions and collaborative workshops on how to master all 5 of these. So what if you're just starting out in your freelance business, right? If you're just starting out and you don't know anybody and you're trying to network and communicate, part of this package is the 5-Star Freelancers private LinkedIn group, right? So you can connect with designers, photographers, copywriters, and bloggers. Bloggers and content creators, even developers. One of the biggest things that I'm always in search of is if I get hired for a job, I may need a photographer. I may need a copywriter for a project that I'm working on. I can't do all of those things. So having a network to fall back on where I can collaborate with somebody else and say, hey, developer Joe, I just got a quote from a client for X amount, but I need a developer. So would you like to be on a team with me? We'll split the cost, and this is what we'll do. He'll have a new gig, I'll have a new client, and we'll both work together and we'll execute. Collaboration is so important. And what this community allows you to do is collaborate with people in each of those specific industries that you might need. Is there a money back guarantee? This is a paid course. It's a paid membership. But if you buy it and you truly feel that you've had no value, you haven't improved, you haven't been generating more leads, that's fine. I'm trying to help you. I want you to be successful. I want you to follow your passion. I'll give you your money back. And if 60 days passes and you haven't really felt like you've gotten any value, you've done all your homework, you've done the worksheets, you've applied the templates, you've emailed clients about potential work, no questions asked, let me know and I'll happily refund you. Maybe you're still not convinced. Here's a sample of how some of these lessons that are going to be baked into this course has helped certain people. This is an article that I posted. It was published on Millo.com, 3-step guide to client pitches. This is in the project's proposals section of the course. These are comments that are live. You can go on the site right now and look at them. But Barney says, thanks, Andrew. This came on time for morning pitch meeting. I feel stronger now that I'm heading into that meeting. So this guy read my post right before he walked into a morning meeting and felt compelled enough to comment on it and saying, thank you. I've never met this person in my life, but he felt helped by the advice that I had to offer him. And then Sean says, great piece. I've been freelancing on my own for 15 years. Let myself slip on autopilot. He got a little bit lazy. His studio is going through some transitions, and proposals are something that he felt like he needed to work on. Putting proposals together has been kind of tough just because I kind of let those skills get rusty. This was a very nice refresher. So my point here is that it doesn't matter what phase of your career you're in, whether you've been on your own for 15 years or you're just getting started. The type of content that I push out and that I'm trying to deliver to you is helpful in all walks of all phases of your career. The net says, OMG, this was just what I needed. I am bookmarking this article and spending the next morning hours implementing these strategies. So she says, thank you, and you're welcome, Danette. So my point is, no matter what phase of your freelancing business you're in, there is always room to learn, and these courses are designed to hold you accountable, which is also very important. You'll have, people around you supporting you along the way, and it's just important to stay accountable. And also, I'm offering a bonus giveaway on this webinar, and I'm going to pay you for growing your own network. And how does that work? Okay, so if you become a member of the 5-Star Freelancers community, one of the first 100, and these courses are launching in the fall, so you've got all summer to think about it and try to plan. If you become one of the first 100 members, I will give you $148 for every additional freelancer you recruit to join this powerful network for the rest of your life. So you will be an affiliate. You'll be paid nearly $150 for every other person that you connect with. And you're growing your network and you're also making passive income. But more importantly, you're helping that person connect with people who will drive their career forward. I can't think of a better deal than that, to be paid to connect with people that you need to do anyway. So let me break it down one more time. Here's what you get. You get highly actionable instructional videos, which is a $997 value. You get monthly guest lectures from people who currently charge over $1,500 per lecture. They'll be live for free for you to watch. There will be highly actionable homework and lesson plans. There will be private discussion groups and support systems, some of which, comparable groups charge $100 a month. Some of them do. Access to private job boards and product promotions. So we're working, one of this project management companies we're working with is called Thrive Solo, and they're giving a huge discount on their invoicing software for you to use. It's something that I use as well. Beautiful interface that easily manages your hours. But you'll have access to those product promotions. If you become an affiliate, it's an opportunity also for you to have endless potential. Endless income potential. So if you invest, it'll be an unbelievable opportunity for you to not only connect, but to really help other people connect and get where they want to be. I've spent over $1,500 on software alone for webinars, for hosting courses, for website, hosting plans. So really baked into this whole package is almost $10,000 worth of value, of my own money, of my own time, that I feel it doesn't matter to me that it costs that much. I just want to get it out to you. And I feel like you're going to benefit so much from this. I'm like getting winded trying to explain it to you. But when this product launches, memberships will sell for $397. For a $10,000 value course, it's going to be $397. But I'm pre-selling it for the rest of this month in July for $100 off, which means there's a limited pre-sale offer of only $297 for a chance to join this powerful community, to access to these courses, access to these guest lectures, these monthly webinars from people who are charging $1,500 per lecture, they're passionate about teaching people how to work for themselves, which is something I know that all of you are passionate about, or else you wouldn't have gotten this far into the webinar. But $297 to change your life and reroute your career. I think there's no better value out there. Quite literally getting paid to grow your network and learn how to become an independent 5-star freelancer. If it sounds like something you might be interested in, let me know. You can connect with me at Palmer Drew on Twitter. I'm going to leave this screen up. The checkout link is at the bottom. If you go to members.5starfreelancers.com/checkout/premium membership. I would love for you to be in my network. I would love to connect with you. I love connecting with people. I love learning what you're passionate about and learning how we can allow you to fulfill your creative ambitions through freelancing. I think this is an opportunity for everybody to jump on. I've had a few people buy in so far, and we're working together. We're doing webinars weekly to sell this product. We're continually building our group. There's some really cool stuff coming. There's some interesting things that are happening with 5-star freelancers, and it's going to be a game changer. So I hope I get to meet you in the future. And that wraps up for today. Appio, I don't know if you want to chime in, but I loved going through it again with you.
Oh man, this is amazing. Good material. And when I saw it the first time, I was struck by so many of the really valid, valuable points that you make. I mean, everything, even if people were to just watch this webinar, I think it's already valuable information, actionable information that you could take with you. So
that's
it's
what I'm hoping.
Incredible stuff.
That's what I'm hoping. Yeah. I mean, I truly just want people to, if I instilled anything in this webinar, it's have the confidence to go out and follow what you're passionate about, because or else you won't be going anywhere. You'll be getting older. You'll be going through the motions, but you won't be fulfilling your creative ambitions. And if you think you're a creative and you find energy in creating new things and doing new things, you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. But this product that I'm building, this community, helps you bypass that. It helps you avoid those mistakes. It helps you avoid the risk of being discouraged. And it's money in your pocket along the way. You're getting paid to grow your network, but also you're getting paid to learn how to navigate the freelance community, which has been the hardest part for me, which has been the hardest part for so many people who have tried to go out on their own and freelance. Navigating that space can be either, I've said it before, a lonely island or a thriving metropolis. And this hopefully will be a stepping stone for the latter.
Certainly. And, to your point, that when you realize that the power of the human connection was what really made a huge difference. I mean, this network alone provides that connection, provides you with the opportunity to really get out there.
Yeah, and that's why I was so excited to present it today on Project Positive Change. It's all about connectivity. Wherever you apply it, whatever industry, whatever career, human connection resonates with humans.
Sure.
I mean, you say it out loud, it sounds like common sense, but when you really dig into it, it's your network. You get your energy from your network. You get your job leads from your network. You get recommendations. You get friends. It's so powerful.
True. I mean, I'm a certified infinite possibilities trainer, and I can tell you that when I got my certification and I connected with that network of trainers, it was amazing. Not only did I end up with a very powerful network of people that I could learn from and grow my business, but also it was one of those things where I ended up with so many awesome friends.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Friends that you can talk to, communicate with about a number of different subjects. But in terms of freelancing, friends who think of you when they hear of something
Exactly.
That somebody else needs help with something that you're an expert at or that you're
Yeah.
passionate about.
Yeah.
They facilitate that connection. And it's a beautiful thing when you recognize that and you start to apply it.
For sure. So I'm curious. Now, I'm guessing that in the course, you actually cover the details of the hows of how to make those connections, how to
Yes.
reach out, who to reach out to, and so
Yes,
forth.
that's all in the self-promotion and the networking part of the course. I mean, we talked today at a very high level,
Yeah.
because in the interest of time, I could talk for 6 more hours about all the tactics that go along with this. But yes, each of the videos talks about the 5 pillars: the mindset, the self-promotion, the pricing structure, um, the networking, and the organization. And each of those categories has at least an hour-long video that explains in a very deep level how to navigate that space. And also baked into that are actionable worksheets, so quizzes that you'll have to take, homeworks that hold yourself accountable. You can download PDFs, you fill out worksheets. Before you're even able to advance to the next section or the next video, you have to fill out the homework assignment. You have to keep yourself accountable. So it keeps you really on track. And it walks you chronologically through what it takes to start a business, then how to sustain it, and then how to maintain it. It keeps you very actionable each step of the way.
That's what I love about this, is the fact that it's designed to hold yourself accountable.
Yes,
And so you cannot advance until you actually complete the work.
exactly. You can't advance until you complete and put in the time.
Yeah. I
Because
mean,
you're only cheating yourself if you don't. If you watch the video and walk away, what did you absorb? You just wasted an hour of your time.
yeah.
Dreaming about something that you're never going to try to put into action.
I mean,
So that's why I love that we've baked in the homework assignments and the PDFs.
I love that too, because I can't begin to tell you how many courses I've taken that it's pretty much just, you get lectured, you get lectured, and then, okay, where's the part where I have to take action? Where's the part where I can apply what I've learned?
Exactly.
That's
That's what's wasted. And that's what this is trying to recapture. Is that accountability aspect. Not only that, not only are you accountable for your own success, but you're going to have a community of people who are talking about the lesson plans, who are there with you, taking each step of the way. The LinkedIn group, the private discussion group, you're going to be talking about these lessons. You're going to bounce ideas off each other. You're going to talk about takeaways, key takeaways, and how to look at something a little bit differently. You're going to learn and absorb knowledge from the community that is going through the same course as you are. So not only are you going to have to do your own work, but you're going to have the opportunity to connect with people who have also been going through the same lesson plans and are on the same page as you are and are eager to support you.
Yeah. Not to mention that, one of the huge benefits that I can see from that as well is that if somebody has an epiphany and they share that with the group, it's like, oh my God, everybody ends up benefiting from it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the other thing, and I know we talked about this, Apio, is when you first decided to go out on your own, people thought you were crazy. They thought, that's so risky. Like, how are you going to go against the grain like that and feel comfortable? It was such a challenge for me too when I decided to freelance. I mean, I quit my job and I had nowhere to go. I lived off my savings, and it was terrifying because I had rent to pay. My parents were, I was 23 at the time, so they're devastated that I decided to just quit my job. I thought I was making the worst mistake of my life, and I didn't. It was a slump. I mean, I was sad that it felt very discouraged, and I didn't have a network of freelancers supporting me. I didn't have people saying, this is a good idea, this is good, you're following what you're passionate about, this is good that you're doing this. I didn't have that. I had people saying, aren't you scared, aren't you nervous, aren't you worried? And of course, when I got asked those questions, I was all 3 of those things. But what this does is provides you a group of people who are also, they have made the same decision you did, which is to go out and work on their own, to follow their creativity where they want to be in life. And they're there with you. They're supporting you, and they're offering you that support that you need in that first stage, which is establishing the right mindset.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, you'll fall flat on your face.
Yeah.
And it'll be that much harder to plug through. So.
And here's something I have to put in a plug for you as well, and that is $297 to invest in yourself, to learn from the mistakes of others. Hello. That's a no-brainer.
That should be a drop in the bag. I mean, I can't emphasize enough. I mean, I'm so glad you said that, because coming from me, I'm the guy trying to sell it, but I don't want to sound salesy. I want you to understand how affordable that is to change your entire life for that dollar amount, and also have the opportunity to start. I mean, if you have, say you have already started a blog or a following of designers who are listening to you, even if you get 10 people to join, you'll be helping them. You'll be helping other people in the group connect with them, and it'll be $1,500 in your pocket.
Yeah.
So this will be not only your help, your life vest in your freelance career, but it can be as much your business as you want it to be.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, you can turn this into an annual income.
Yeah. Life is what you make of it, right?
Just by connecting with other creatives. Life is what you make of it.
Absolutely.
I love that. I love that you understand that. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Well, I waited until I was actually in my 40s before I finally decided to take that leap.
Wow.
So I greatly admire the fact that you did it when you were 23. I stayed in that little cocoon of fear for far too long. And finally, I'm just like, all right, enough.
Enough.
It's time to go.
Enough's enough. Yeah. Sometimes you just got to rip the tape off.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Wasn't fun, but hey, here we are, right?
Here we are.
Absolutely. Well, I really appreciate your insights, your incredibly generous offer. This is just great stuff. And I would encourage everybody who is watching this webinar to please go take a look at 5-Star Freelancers. Seriously take a hard look at investing in yourself and really just jumpstarting your careers. You know, again, whether it's you're just starting out or if you're doing it, you've been doing it for 15, 20 years, doesn't matter. I think it's always good to refresh, get new ideas, get, new perspectives. So Drew, this is amazing stuff. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
It's great.
Thank you.
So, well, you guys have a fantastic evening, and we'll see you in the next installment of our webinar series for Project Positive Change.
Perfect.